Shalom. We the Hebrew Israelites. Come week in, week out, we gonna turn to the east and give all praise, honor, glory, and worship.
Shem Yahweh Shah by Shem Rakakwadash.
All praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who told us 100% true. Peace, blessings, safety to the Lord's elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the planet Earth, man. You know, another week here in Babylon the Great, which is America. You know it as America, but the Holy Scriptures is prophesied as Mystery Babylon the Great. You know, as well as many other spiritual names, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, Nineveh, Assyria. You know, and you got a lot of things happening around this country that shows that this place is on its way out, man. This kingdom is on its way out. You know, most recently this week you had train derailments and pretty much chemical warfare, man. Chemical warfare is clearly being waged on you people here, you know, that believe in the American dream, and your American dream is about to turn into a nightmare, man. You know?
I was watching this video about how Cincinnati's supposed to be closing off their water intake. You know, due to that, you know, the contamination of dealing with the derailment. You know,
that contamination was in East Palestine, Ohio, and it's funny because they, you know, Esau, he always doing some trickery. We are not ignorant of Satan's devices, but they had a Netflix movie that came out like a year ago. It was like a comedy, but in the comedy movie, there was a train that derailed in the exact same time, and you know what I'm saying, and the people was like,
that movie was shot in Ohio too.
Yeah, come. I think
that was a white noise.
Okay, come.
That was like a couple months ago. It came out towards the end of 2022. They came out with that movie. But you got multiple other movies that depict train derailments and shit like that with chemical, you know, spilling hazardous material. You got the movie Derailment with Denzel Washington. That's another movie that came out like, I want to say 2010. I forget the particular year that it came out in, man. But this all according to the prophecy, according to the Holy Scriptures. Go ahead, brother.
This is book of second. This book of second. This book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It says, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices."
Right, so we already know how this devil get down, man. Yeah. And you see, with that dealing with their agenda 2030, they have a policy within the agenda that if the land is polluted or contaminated, the WEF can come in and confiscate the land and move those citizens in that land to a smart city.
Right.
See, so this is what Esau, he's pretty much preparing the whole world for these smart cities, and these 15-minute cities is pretty much going to be like digital economic prisons, man.
Right, because if Cincinnati cut off water intake, what does that mean? That means that they're going to be taking in less water. That's a fact, you know? So that's going to be the starting part of people being forced into these different cities, or people being backed into corners where they got to make a decision to comply with whatever Esau got you know? 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. Again, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, and Hashatan is going to get an advantage over a lot of these people because they ignorant to what's going on right now. You know, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
Right, ignorant meaning to not know, man. We know what this devil is up to, you know, because the Lord have showed us. Oh man, what's that? It's in the book of Job. The Lord speaks about how we know this devil's move, man. You know?
Yeah, kind of. When you get this word devices, it says naima, which means a mental perception. It says thought and evil purpose of the word for device in 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11.
Right, because the word device is a wicked plan, you know. And so when Esau does things like you had the UFOs, they said it was an unidentified object in the sky,
right? And
that was like the big thing. It was like a big distraction, you know. Turns out it wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? They shot it down, but that was obviously a distraction from the East Palestine, man. You know, that was obviously something to get the minds of the people off of what was going on over there. So we're not ignorant of this devil's devices, man.
This is
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 15. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small."
Yeah. So you gotta be watching as well as praying, like Yahweh Shai said, man. You shouldn't be looking at what's going on right now with all these derailments and chemical spills as if it's just coincidence or something that is just happening. You know, you had a truck that overturned, I think, in Florida. So all on four corners of the country, you pretty much have chemical warfare, like I said, being waged on the environment. This is going to lead to pestilences, and other sicknesses and things like that. Can somebody get Matthew 24 and somebody get at 2 Ezra 15th chapter? Because this is all, see what the Lord is doing, He's putting the pieces in place to make these prophecies manifest themselves, man.
15. This book of 2nd Ezra chapter
This part don't work. No. Go ahead, preach.
this book of 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy."
Right, that's what we're doing. We're saying before. The word prophesy, pro mean before, facade means to say. We're saying before the things that's going to happen. Just like, I remember some video circulating the Elder Bishop by Tazawam in Atlanta. He was years ago talking about how this whole city going to be shut down. Then you had the epidemic, you know, and everything was shut down. You know, we prophesying of nuclear missiles. We're prophesying of famine. And meanwhile, you have hundreds of thousands of animals being euthanized. You have food processing centers being burnt down to the ground. You got farmers. They said over 100,000 farmers have been lost in America within the past 7 years, man. What do you think all this land that's not being cultivated, you think that's not going to have no ramifications on what's in your stores, man? But you continue to, you know, you people, you go to and fro within the society, like la-di-da-di-da, like everything is all good.
Right. Meanwhile, this man is switching out your real food for 3D food.
From Beyond Meat and, you know, human meat.
You know,
Bugs, right.
Bugs.
Yeah, I seen an article this week that said that if you're struggling to make ends meet, skip breakfast.
Yeah.
Was that a righteous article? Because niggas eat too much anyway.
I was gonna say there's nothing wrong with that advice. You're only supposed to eat like once or twice a day anyway. Right. We overeat in this society anyway. But the thing is, they gonna be skipping breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty soon, man.
Yeah, right, because you're gonna either have to pay for your bills or pay for food. You know,
yeah, because Salakia. But you got the emergency stamps ending in March 1st, man. The emergency SNAP benefits, which was like an extra $100, you know. So that's an extra $100 that ain't gonna be going to your food.
Right. Well, I was gonna say that's why the scripture talk about the thief in the night, because Esau ain't telling people, oh, you might have to, you know, not eat for a day, or you might have to, you know what I mean, you know, thug it out for this. You know, he just gonna throw it all upon you, man.
Well, he actually is telling the people, and people are just fucking ignorant.
They don't take it seriously.
Right.
Yeah. I saw now see the loss of children.
Yep.
They ain't that spirit, but we got here. Read that real quick.
It says, verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper. Oh, it's like, I'm reading verse 1 again.
This part broke.
This for the 2nd Ezra chapter 15.
This part broke.
It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
We're not life coaches. We're not marriage counselors.
Right.
The prophets weren't set up to be these things. We were set up to prophesy unto you. They tell you in Ezekiel 37 to prophesy upon these bones, and they shall live, man. That's what the Lord commanded us to do. He said, so I prophesied as I was commanded. That's what Ezekiel said. He didn't say he taught them the law. He didn't say he said they read the Torah every day like Nehemiah and them. We're not in that time. We're in the time of prophesying the downfall of this place, man.
It says, the ears of my people, the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord.
Yeah, right. So the Lord is giving us the words to speak. The Lord making it easy for us. We're just reciting the lyrics of this song. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true.
Right. And you niggas, you love to read the so-called white man literature. You will read his books and his philosophies all day up and down till you turn blue in the face. But then when it comes to these scriptures that was written by brown-skinned Israelite men, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, so you can understand, you don't want nothing to do with this book, man. But the Lord said that he would have his words to be written in paper. Go ahead.
Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee.
Right, because what we're doing, we're top enemy number one to the NWO, man.
Right.
We're public enemy number one. So there's a lot of imaginations and devices that's being set up and put into place to come at us, man. Like the apostles been going into all week. We all facing death, man.
Right.
You have to put that in reality in your mind that I'm going to die for this, and that so that if you don't die, okay, well that's cool. I mean, I was ready to, you know. But you got to already have it in your mind that my head is going to roll, man. You know.
Verse 3 again, it says, "Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee."
Right. The word incredulity means the lack of ability to believe, man. And these people, they don't have the ability, they don't have the mental, spiritual capacity to believe in this truth, man. To have faith, which is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Right.
See?
Which if you don't believe in this truth, you know, it's only one other thing that you can believe in. You know, and the lies gonna come in the form of these different accusations that the devil, you know, create. You know, his device that he create in order to accuse us, man. You know. If I read this one more time, it says, "Fear not the imagine."
He said, pretty much, you know, like you said, if you're not in this truth, man, you worshiping Satan, man. There's only one path. Right. Where it says, talking about where one path, you know.
This is the book of 2nd Ezra 7 and 2, 3. And I said, speak on my power. It says, 2nd Ezra 7 and 6, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of good things.
Oh, right, full of all good things. That's the kingdom of heaven, right? Go ahead.
It says the entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall.
Well, it said the entrance into this kingdom is narrow and it's set in a dangerous place to fall. Go ahead.
It says, like as if there were fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
Right. That's pretty much everything that's set up. Well, it represents the first and the second death. Right. But those things that's gonna lead you to the first and second death is these false philosophies, man. You know, those are like fires and deep waters that can drown you. You know, but meanwhile, there's only one entrance into this city. Okay. The Lord said that you gotta come in through the door. Which means you gotta come in the right way. As a young man, you gotta come under tutors and governors. Can you hold that? Get Galatians 4:2.
It says, 2nd Ezra 7 and 8, and one only path between them both.
So it's only one path between them both, man. Meaning it's only one way to the kingdom of heaven, man. And that's the doctrine of the Hebrew Israelites being taught by Great Millstone, man. You know, that's been passed down from Abba all the way down, man, to you know, to where we at now today.
Right.
You know,
you hear that Steve Harvey talk about there's plenty of paths to get to the kingdom of heaven. Right. No, it's only one path, man.
Right.
All right, coming through that straight gate, which is full of adversity, the trial of affliction, man. Go tried in the fire, man. Because the Lord's man is gonna be tested, man. We're being tested right now, but the ultimate test is gonna come when they implement this RFID chip, right? Which all your money, all your social credit, your economic, whatever, everything is gonna, your life, as you know, is gonna be on that type of technology.
Right. Yeah, it's gonna revolutionize everything. You know what I'm saying? Because right now you got the digital IDs that was being rolled out. Another thing with East Palestine, they said that 6 months ago they was running a pilot program where a company came and they was pretty much passing out like I forget what. Yeah, they was passing out medical devices to monitor breathing issues and, you know what I'm saying, the quality of the air. But they did all that 6 months ago in this little small town, all the small towns in America. They went to this small town to run that program. So now they really getting their statistics because the air is obviously polluted and the people is obviously breathing in garbage, man. But you got it though.
Yeah. It says,
Read it one more time.
2 Ezra 7 and 8.
So you gotta come in the right way. It's only one way.
And one only path between them both.
Right. That path is through Yahweh Shai, man. Yahweh Shai is the path. He said in St. John 4 and 14 and 6 that I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh unto Yahweh but by Yahweh Shai, man. Okay, so that's the way, but Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai have set up husbandmen on the earth, man. They've set up doormen on the earth, man. You know, and that's the order that a member of the elect will come through, man. You know, eventually, whether in the 11th hour or early on. You know, working. If not cash, but yeah, I put it.
It says 2 Ezra 7 and 8, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
You gotta be seeking your own salvation, man. You know, you can't be riding up there to the kingdom. You know,
That lets you know how narrow this path is, man. You know what I'm saying? Where you walk into how you gotta squeeze through like something real quick, you gotta suck in your stomach. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, this path is so narrow that you like you were saying, man, it's fire on one side and water on the other side. Man.
right. It reminds me of when Yahushua said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of heaven. Which the eye of a needle is a door. It's a very small door in the ancient world. You go to the city in the ancient world that had a big wall, and then there would be a small door called a needle. And you had to get your camel through that needle. But the only way you can get your camel through that needle is if you unload all the luggage that's on that camel's back. You got to get them to crouch down. Camels are very stubborn beasts, man. So just like a rich man don't want to unload all his possessions, humble himself down and prop himself down to a low position in order to go through that door, which is Yahweh Shai, in order to get to the kingdom, man.
That's why that rich man said that Yahweh Shai told that rich man, to give away all your possessions. He kept all the laws, everything like that. He said he went away very sorrowful because he had many riches.
He had many riches.
Yep.
But it also said when you read the account in Mark, it said Yahweh Shai loved him. So this was a guy who Yahweh Shai was cool with, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't set up to follow him. Just like who was that, the man that had the legion? Yahweh Shai he wanted to follow the Lord and the Lord told him, you know?
That's proven that you got elect. You got certain men that set up to, like you said, following certain men that no matter how much you was cool with, I got a scripture. The book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 10. Matthew chapter 7 and verse 13. And it reads, enter ye in at this great gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction.
And that wide, broad gate, man, is an easy way, man. You know what I'm saying? Believe that you can do whatever you want to. All you gotta do is believe on JC and you're good, man.
And all these other camps, without order and just winging it for Israel.
Because that wide gate, the scripture says, so that's contradicting the scriptures, man. If the easy way and the wide gate was the way to heaven, man. Because like the brother said in Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, that it's only wide enough for one man to go through, man. So how is it a wide gate, but only one man is supposed to go through? You got it, man.
And you made me think of something like you said, that show you gotta be in order, you gotta follow certain stuff. It's like some gates you going on, it's only wide enough for one man. That means that's order. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bring it back. Matthew 7 and verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way. This is a difficult walk. But all, worthwhile things aren't easy.
I reckon that the suffering of this present time is not worthy to be compared with the glory that shall be revealed in the elect. So like you said, man, if this thing is worth more while than anything else, man. So it's gonna be rough.
You gotta understand, look what we asking the Heavenly Father for.
Right.
You know what I mean? We asking for, like you asking for power over your enemies. You asking for the ability to manipulate spiritual, manipulate elements. You asking for spiritual power. Like you're not asking for a Christmas gift with a goofy shit.
Money blessing.
You're asking for the So, again, this is Matthew chapter 7, verse 13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat. So many people are going to go through that wide gate, man. We keep going. Verse 14. Because great is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Oh, so difficult is the way, the position of difficulty is the way that leadeth unto life, man. And few there be that find that way, man. You know, because Jacob's going to go and do, you know, what they're accustomed to doing. You know, everybody's not going to be fully born again. A lot of people putting in new cloth on old garments, putting new wine in old bottles, you know, and they bring it to the truth, but they try to disguise it as if this is a way of the truth. But you know, the true men, they see right through that. You got something to say?
Okay, just real quick. This is Second Ezra, chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 13. It says, "And therefore be thou not curious how the ungodly shall be punished, and when, but inquire how the righteous shall be saved, whose the world is, and for whom the world is created." Then answered I and said, "I have said before, and now do speak, and will speak, and also hereafter, that there be many more of them which perish than them which shall be saved. Like a wave is greater than a drop." You know, so that you got it out. So yeah, so just like a wave is greater than a drop, that's the correlation of one that are the ones that are going to choose to walk through that straight gate than the ones that's going to walk through that wide, easy, open gate, man. You know how big a wave is to a small drop? That's a hell of a comparison right there, man. But that's the small remnant that the Lord is going to be dealing with now, man.
Yeah, the Lord said, "Humble yourselves, and the Lord will exalt you in due time." Jake don't want to be exalted in that due time. You know, the Lord said He will give every needful thing in its due season, but Jake want to be exalted immediately when they come in this thing. They learn a long list of precepts. They get the precept packet. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't. And that's another thing too. You camps, you don't know how to follow the Spirit, man. You know, you literally go by a precept packet. You literally go by a structure. You know, it's not like you just open the scripts and follow the Spirit. Let's go out there and let's just read the precepts, see where the Spirit take us. No, you guys got an actual regimen of what you want to talk about that day, man. You know, and that's why the Spirit's not dealing there, man.
Right now you got Slocky, the elder, when I talk about said somebody from watching from Israel, you see that MOTV is RFID, right?
Well, it has to happen because it's the truth.
Yep.
You know, so you're gonna have that's the beginning of many men that's gonna realize that the people that they following is off, and they're gonna go seek to the true teachers, man. Which is you know, the elders apostle Greg to the throne, to the Spirit of Yahweh how much Shemel Shai. You got it, Shemel.
This is the book of Galatians chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, "Now I say that the heir, as long as she is a child, differeth nothing from a servant."
So the heir, as long as he is a child, deferreth nothing from a servant, right? So a king might have a son, but that son is actually a servant until he becomes a prince, until he becomes a king, you know. And he's gonna be raised up by he's gonna be with his mom, he's gonna be with the butler, he's gonna be with the servants, the tutors, right? The tutors and the governors that he's gonna go into, you know, until he gets to a certain age, then he come around his father. You got it.
It says, "Differeth nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all,
Right.
but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father."
So you got to be under tutors and governors, man, until the time appointed of your father, man. I'm thinking about Hebrews, the 5th chapter. It said when you ought to be teachers, you have need that one teach you again. And that's apparent because you got hundreds of camps that should not be teaching.
Right.
They shouldn't be teaching what they teaching. They should come under this order here. They should come through the door here, you know, via the doorkeepers, you know, and receive the true doctrine.
They got the milk, you know what I'm saying? The milk is knowing you're an Israelite, teaching the, you know, you got to keep the laws to the ability. But that strong meat, man, is the deep, dark sayings of the scriptures that only few men are able to search out, you know? You guys, yep.
MOTB.
All right.
You know?
Daniel, you know what I'm saying? Some breaking Daniel down wrong, like,
Yeah,
You
right.
know?
Controversial topics like,
Yeah.
Rape and prostitution. You know, the Lord said, if I told you earthly things, I'll show you receive heavenly things. Man. We've been in the Western Hemisphere too long, man. You know, the Lord said we would discontinue from our heritage. You know, that's literally what happened. Is there any more on that?
It says, verse 2 again. It says, but it is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the father.
What are the word tutor?
It's the word tutor. It says, epitropos. It says, one to whose care or honor anything has been instructed. It says a curator, right? And we have care for the elect. You know, it says one to whose care or honor anything has been instructed. A curator, a guardian, a steward or manager of a household or of lands.
Right, a guardian. Pretty much your spiritual parents.
Yeah.
You know,
They
like
say
your spiritual father.
They say an overseer.
Right. You know, that's what the men that's over us. Every brother has a brother over him, and that brother that's over him is an overseer. You know, he like scripture say, they watch for our souls.
Right.
That's a guardian. Okay. So why would you want to be without that? Why would you want to be without that guardian? Why would you want to be without that elder with experience that you could go to and say, look, I'm in this situation, I don't know what to do, what to do, spirit, you know? And then they can say, well, I've been through that 20 years ago. This is what you should do, brother. You know?
Without that
Instead of weakening it for Israel.
Yeah. But without that, you a bastard.
God.
It says one who has the care and tutelage of children.
Woo, children. Yahushua said, suffer the little children to come unto me, man. Because we all had to become that when we came into this truth. You became a babe, and then as you grow, a couple years you're a toddler. You might even grow to be a young adult in this truth. Most of us won't be adults in this truth before Yahushua come back. So we all children, and we have our spiritual fathers, which are the elders and apostles, man. And they raised us up in the faith. They edify us. The word edify, can you use the etymology of edify? The word edify means to build in a moral or in faith. To build up in moral and in faith. And that's what the elders and apostles are, our spiritual guardians, our spiritual parents, they do. So the apostle Paul, he called Timothy his own son in the faith.
This etymology for edify, it says to build, to construct, to build up morally or in faith.
Yeah, construct, man. You know, I keep thinking about that old video of the apostles. It's about the spiritual ark. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Apostles talk about the spiritual ark when the chariot comes, Father should come. That's that spiritual ark when we take it up. But it's almost like we're building. You know, we're building the ark here, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, it's a spiritual temple, like you said. You know, that third temple. You know. Yeah, beautiful.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 9. It says, for we are laborers together with the Most High. Ye are God's husbandry, ye are God's building. It says,
the Most High got the angels working. You know, we all working, man. The Lord sent angels here and there, the angels working, we working. You know, and we're expecting them to do.
And that's
I said, niggas is even working too.
Right.
Satan working. Everybody, you know what I'm saying, fulfilling their lot in these last days. Because that's according to the prophecies of the Holy Scriptures, man. Everybody gonna stand in their lot. So, you know what I'm saying?
And that's the point. Like, you know, we're those lively stones that's being stacked on top of each other. With Yahushua being that chief cornerstone. Man. So we are those the building blocks. You know I like you got like you got it.
It's a book of Ephesians chapter 4, verse 16. From whom the whole body fitly joined together. Verse.
That's another thing y'all don't keep it in context, man. You know, but you got it.
I started verse 14. It says that we henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro.
Tossed to and fro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in Watchmen for Israel, St. Louis, but I agree with everything Great Millstone was saying.
Yeah, God.
But
It's-
anyway,
It says, and carried about with every wind of doctrine.
yeah, it was something about this doctrine. When we heard it, we said, yeah, that's the truth, man. It's like when we heard it, we was like, yeah, that's the truth, man. Look how uncut it is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Look how hated they are. It's gotta be the truth.
Yeah,
You know, when you line up with the scriptures and you hear what they saying, you go back, you do the research, you know what I'm saying, you fact check. You're like, man, how are these men not referenced? You know? But that's why the Lord says it's gonna be plain unto the elect, and it's gonna be stumbling blocks to everyone else. You know?
by the sleight of men and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie and wait to deceive. But speaking
Right, because these camp leaders, they know in the back of their head that the MOTB is the RFID, man. Right. You got Bishop Nate talking about CBDC now, you know. And eventually, your camp, your followers are gonna come flock to Great Millstone, man. All right.
Some of them, you won't be surprised, man. The Lord said the blind gonna lead the blind, and the boat gonna fall into the ditch. These people gonna be blind until the destruction, man. You know, if you look at this, you know how the elect that's gonna come out of that. You know,
And Isaiah 6 and 9. Some of you motherfuckers ain't gonna wake up to the listen, man. For your lack of knowledge, man. Because it's plain, man. We obviously know we in the goddamn end times, man. All this shit going on, man. Fucking four train derailments, some shit like
there's
that.
5 train derailments and one a truck that spilled chemicals.
It's like,
You know, but like I said, that could be sickle cell.
right.
You know what I'm saying? That could be self-inflicted.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or you know, I mean, it's obviously the will of the Lord. You know, and it's gonna lead to it's added to the chaos. You know, bring more chaos because they want Ordo, so they gotta bring Kale. You got it,
verse 14 again, no, like verse 15, it says, but speaking the truth and love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahushua, from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth.
Yeah. So that's the body is like fitly joined together.
Yeah,
You know, it's kind of like how they would build things in the ancient world. Like I was watching a video and they had like an ancient lock and they would just use wood and they would like, you know, interchange it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like the method of building back then, like Lincoln logs. You know what I'm saying? But that's how the body is fitly framed together.
Right.
You know? And it said that every part of that body gives what is needful to supply. You know, each brother, they got their own particular lot and talent and gift and thing that they bring to the body that adds value to the body. But if you're doing your own thing, you ain't even got a body. You know?
Verse 16 again, it says, the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth. You know, and that's the whole all the elect members, you know, coming together with Yahushua, the whole body of Yahushua. You know, what's that scripture that talk about? What's that scripture that let no man think himself higher than you are? Yeah, for all, you know, pretty much paraphrase all the part of that body, you know. But it says from whom the whole body fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working and the measure of every part, maketh increase of the body, right? You know, each brother putting in his, you know, his fair share of tokens, you know, not putting it in a napkin. It says, maketh increase of the body into the edifying of itself in love. You know, that building, the edifying, you know, that building, man. You know.
And how you gonna be perfectly joined is by speaking the same thing, man.
Right.
And that's the difference between Great Millstone and the rest of these camps, all right? Because a lot of these guys are just, because the more unity you have, the more money you can make. All right, when you separate yourself, now you really got to depend on your own. All right, your own followers, your own body, right? But these guys, they get together, they do these unity camps, and make a whole bunch of money. You know what I'm saying? And they break bread and then they out, man. Yeah, you got it, huh?
It's 1 Corinthians 1 verse 10. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, that ye all speak the same thing, and that there be no divisions among you.
And I can say this specifically in Ephesians, the 4th chapter, and it says something about cunning craftiness. We go into the word cunning, and another word for cunning is experience. So these certain individuals, the leaders of these different alphabet groups, they got experience in witchcraft and sorcery. Because when you read in the Holy Scriptures, in particular, Acts the 8th chapter, there was a man named Simon the sorcerer. And matter of fact, right. Because that goes perfectly with brothers is bringing out in particular, man. You know what I'm saying? They use witchcraft and sorcery, right? Even, and Paul was speaking on that a lot. He said that they deceive the hearts and the minds of the simple. Real quick, get Romans, what is that, 16? Does it say that in Romans 16, you quote?
Yeah, Romans 16, 17. I got it right here.
Oh, yeah.
Romans 16 or 17. Now,
read the point up, too. What it says, Scopeo, watch them. Yes.
Yeah, I got it. This is Romans chapter 16, verse 17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark
Right,
them.
see what Paul, he was begging them. That's what beseech me.
Earnestly beg.
Earnestly beg, like the brother says. So he was good, brother. You gotta watch these individuals, man. Don't use your head for something other than a hat rack. You hear me out, dude? That's basically what Paul was telling their heads, man. Look, man. Use your head for something other than a hat rack, man. You gotta watch certain individuals, man. Okay?
It says, now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. So like what I said, man, Apostle Paul, he said he beseeched them, man. You know, because Jake, our people, that's what you see it to this day, 2023, they into that unity camp shit because Jake is about unity and coming together and all that. But look, if y'all not speaking the same thing, the Apostle Paul, like, look, that shit is out the window, man. You know, I know that's the type of people that we are, but when it comes to this faith, we have to all believe and agree on the same things, man, to be able to be walking together. You know?
Just walk together, let them be agreed.
Right. Exactly. Because that brings, you know what I'm saying?
This book of Romans chapter 12 and verse 4. It says, for as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office, right? It says, so we being many are one body in Yahweh Shah, and every one members one of another. It says, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith, or ministry, let us wait on ministering. But the point being, the only way that you can, fit in that one mission of the body is if you all agree on the same thing. The hand ain't disagreeing with the shoulder, you know what I mean, or the shoulder ain't disagreeing with, the chin. It's all working in one accord, to once again edify and build, But if one guy calling on Christ, one guy sit up there calling on Yeshua, and another, you know what I mean, that's just all over the place.
All right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I got two to back up the point about it as far as all be in agreement and of one mind. It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 8, and it reads, finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous, not rendering evil for evil, or rallying for rallying.
And this is really a new concept of a bunch of so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, all agreeing on one thing, like literally everything. Like if somebody asks us this brother one question, and asks that brothers down there the same question, you're gonna get the same exact answer. That's literally a new concept in the earth. So that's why the Lord said that we're gonna sing a new song, because the average niggas, they can't do that on every single thing. No, are you serious? That's impossible. So only the Spirit of the Lord will allow us to accomplish this anyway.
Back in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 9, and it reads, not rendering evil for evil, or rallying for rallying, but contrariwise blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye should inherit a blessing. And then I got one in Romans. This is Romans chapter 12 and verse 16. And it reads, be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits. This is the book of Romans chapter 12, verse 16. And it reads, be of the same mind one toward another. Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own conceits.
He said, mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. You know, Lord said that he that is greatest of all must be serving of all. And he that desires to be greatest of all will be serving of all.
And that goes to show you like just how out of order things is. Like one of our brothers just going into like how even like the men who had like more substance, like you know, had more currency, they had laws that they had to keep. You know, as far as like taking care, like making sure you know the men that had lower estate was good. You know, but now things are so out of order and divided. You know, everybody has so much of a discourse of a mindset that you know people, you know what I mean. Those laws don't stand no more. You know.
So it's like that in the Christian community, right? Like with a pastor, he got a Rolls Royce Phantom.
Yeah.
He got a house on the hill. And then members of his congregation, they live in government housing. So it's the same thing with certain individuals that know that they Israelites, man. Right? They well off within their congregation, they live within a lower state. And then they pay tithes.
Yeah.
You gotta bring your tax. We do taxes. They got a organization, a part of their organization. They got the NW. She got her own office in the church where she do just strictly taxes. She typically doing, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's why your whole shop was fixed. You know, going in the midst of the churches and they, you know what I mean, in there, selling doves and you know what I mean, all type of wickedness going on. You know, no having no compassion for them and missing each other.
And I'm gonna say too because the pastor is supposed to be the most lowly person in the congregation. Why? Because he's directly he's supposed to be getting directly the riches from the Heavenly Father through His Son Yahushua. He has the riches of the Scriptures, right? And in order for him to you know, in order for his congregation to be able to have something, he teaches them, right? And they support the and in turn they get the ties to the pastor, man. But the pastor's not supposed to be riding around and like the brother said, the Rolls Royce, where he gets the not only the money from the congregation, but now he's getting the riches from the Heavenly Father also, man. It don't work like that.
Go ahead.
Because at the end of the day, these part-time pastors, they're not really serving the Most High God in the Bible.
Right.
You know what I mean? They serving their own belly. You know, God, they serve Satan. This book of Malachi, chapter 3. I'm gonna start at verse 16, and it reads: Then they that feared the Lord, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, spake often one to another, and the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, hearkened and heard it. And a book of remembrance was written for him for them that feared the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai.
Listen, the Bible is the book of remembrance, okay? We lost it during slavery. We're getting it back now.
And it says, and that thought, and that thought upon his name. Verse 17, and they shall be...
It's like it says upon his name, you know? So you got, a part of that, with that book of remembrance, you're going to have to think upon the name with that book of remembrance too, man. You ain't just going to be able to settle for Most High in Christ.
Verse 17, and they shall be mine, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai of hosts. And that day when I make up my jewels, and I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him.
That reminds me when all Israel came to King David, and they said, we are Zion. We are servants, you know.
Hey,
that's to rule over us.
Right, that's setting everything back in order.
Right, that's how we came in this truth, man. Like when James, the son of Zebedee, they asked the Lord, "Can I serve your left hand or your right hand?" And the Lord said, "It's not up for me to tell you." You know, so we all got to drink of that cup. And he said we are. They say we are able. You know, they told you how sure we are able to drink of the cup. So that's what we said when we came into this truth, man. You know.
That cup, Salaki, that cup is that straight gate, man.
Right.
You know, this straight gate is gonna be even more narrow, man. You know, you see the food, industrial complex is getting torn down day by day. You know, prices, everything is sky high. It's gonna get even worse. You know, shit just at any moment, man, shit can just all hell can fucking break loose. You know, we that close to your outside returning.
Verse 18, and it reads, "Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, between him that serveth the Most High and him that serveth him not."
You gotta have discernment, man. You know, with discernment, that's if I'm not mistaken, that's one of the gifts. You know, the discerner of spirits. So if the Lord don't give you that, you ain't gonna see it. You're gonna be the blind following a blind leader, and straight into a ditch. It's kind of like when you ride somebody's ass and they hit a pothole because you saw them close, you hit the same pothole. Like,
What's that? Isaiah chapter 9 talks about the leaders of the here. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, our people look to the wrong people for leadership. They look at, you know, these sellouts and celebrities, you know what I mean? People that they believe have something in the Esau system as actually being their leaders when they don't give a fuck about you. You know what I mean? For real, for real. You know, they gonna partake in that great sea dipping as well. You know what I mean? Just to hold on to the little shit they got.
they're gonna promote it.
They gonna promote it. And you can already see it. Like they was talking about, what's his name? Idris Elba's wife was promoting something.
Yeah, she was at the Davos, yeah, because they spoke on it. It was him and his wife. And you know what she was pushing? She was pushing feminism. That's what she was talking about. She was talking about like equity and equality for women. That shit completely, off like the brother said. That shit completely, that shit's wicked, bro.
Yeah, they should be played out by now.
It's gonna get.
That's what I was thinking of when I seen that shit. When they was in the World Economic Forum, whatever that shit did, because that dealing with Klaus Schwab. You know what I'm saying? I was like, why the hell are they on there? And then I was looking at the actual footage from the event, right? And that's what his wife was talking about, equality for women and women empowerment. Well, look, it ain't time for women empowerment no more, man. You know what I'm saying? Women don't have any power. The only power that you have is being submissive and being subjected to your man. That's the only power that you possess. Even better how, because that's the spirit of Elder Malcolm. He did the lesson with the swole Ammonite chick.
I was talking about that.
Oh, that's the spirit. Yeah, she they was having I forget the name of the show on Netflix.
I think it's 100 or something like
Yeah,
that.
the 100, the physical 100, and it was you had 50 men and you had 50 women, right? But you had this real buff ass Ammonite chick, right? You know, and the pride of her heart deceived her, right? She thought just because she was buff and she had all those big ass triceps, big biceps, huge fucking calf muscles. This bitch can lift more than me and you combined. And she called out the smallest, the smallest man. To go against. She really thought that shit was going to have her to prevail, right? But the end result and the conclusion of the matter was what? That nigga was, he got the best of her. Yeah, the elder was saying that. If it was in the capacity, the street fight, he said if it was life or death, she would have been dead. And then he mentioned if it was in the capacity of him trying to take something, he said he could have. He said that bitch, all she would have just did is receive that seed. That's all she would have did is receive seed.
You guys saw the video with the chick in the gym? And the
Yeah.
trying to pray for the blessing or whatever.
Yeah. Hey, like this is so crazy. Like this is so crazy. Like really, the women not built for war. The women is not built for war.
They're not supposed to be.
Right? They're not supposed to be.
I was gonna say too, because in order for women to get that big, they gotta take like hormones.
Yeah.
They gotta do unnatural things to even get a certain level of big and strong. So that show you that shit is off.
They gotta throw off that natural chemical balance.
Right.
They gotta in order to get that big, you gotta have testosterone.
Right.
Right. So they take those pills and the steroids to lower their estrogen and build the testosterone up.
But it's just so. I was gonna say it's gonna get so hard. Like these women, like with all this high testosterone and stuff, they gonna be seeking, they gonna be desiring to have a high estrogen, man. You know, because everything, the route and everything gonna take is gonna take having and needing a man. You know.
There's a video on YouTube. I did a video about this. But they were showing how these females start taking those testosterone pills and shots, whatever. They showed them taking that shit the whole year. That shit's fantastic. But then you really watch her start developing through the year. Her voice changing. That shit.
Like the only testosterone the chick's supposed to be taking is C here. You hear me? That's the only type of testosterone that we're supposed to be taking, man. You know, she's supposed to get a vial and take a hypodermic needle and get some red and suck that shit out and hit the needle.
And who has the ability to push these things out in society? We saw it here, man. So-called white man. Specifically, starting with John D. Rockefeller, man, who invented so-called science and you know, the Western medicines of today, man. This is why you see a whole bunch of wickedness going on, man. I got that Isaiah 32. This is the book of Isaiah 32 in verse 1. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness,
That's Yahweh Shai.
and princes shall rule in judgment.
That's the nation of Israel.
It says, and a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind.
See, a man's gonna be a hiding place from the destruction, man, from the chaos. You know, ain't nobody gonna be looking to a strong white woman to protect them, or looking for a strong black woman to protect them in the times coming, man. You know, yeah, ain't nobody gonna send their wife to the store. You know what I'm saying? Well, hell breaking loose, baby, I'm gonna send you out. It's your turn today. You know what I'm saying? That bitch ain't coming back. You know, every last time you see, yeah, exactly. She ain't going anywhere. She gonna be too scared. You know?
It says, in a covert from the tempest.
A covering from the tempest, from the storm.
It says, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadows of a great rock in a weary land.
Yeah, man. So a man gonna be like a refresher in that day. It's gonna be like a cup of cold ice water. You know.
It says, rise up, ye women that are at ease.
Hey,
You don't rise up by taking fertility statistic class and learn how to pop and go to the fucking gun range. That's not how you rise up. You rise up by getting in order and subjecting yourselves into the men of the heavenly Father. This is men, you know what I'm saying?
they don't see power in femininity. They don't see the power in that, in being in their natural order, in their natural state. You know, they see the power in a man, and when a man is powerful and
Right, because the perception of women and femininity has been skewed. You know what I'm saying? Because they equate. Oh yeah, there was a video with Rampage Jackson. You seen that? He was talking about that shit, man, because he was on the No Jumper. Yeah, UFC dude. He was on the No Jumper podcast, and the No Jumper dude was asking him about why certain individuals, like certain celebrities, so-called black men don't marry black women. And he was basically going into it because he had an Ammonite wife or something, like a Chinese or Chinese or Japanese wife. And he asked his wife to get him a cup of water, right? At the time she was pregnant. He said his own mother was getting in her ear like, why are you letting him do that, this and that? You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say this, right? The perception of feminism and women being feminine, it has been perverted, man. You know?
the so-called black woman, Hispanic woman, they don't. The concept of serving a man,
Right.
that's an abomination to them.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You know what I'm saying? How dare you? Why would I serve? You know what I'm saying? They literally say that. Why would I make this nigga a sandwich? You know what I'm saying? Why would I cook dinner in the middle?
Right. because they believe that it's no benefit in serving men, which because of our women and women in particular, just women in general, bro, they're carnal individuals. Like the brother said, it's a word that this brother had brought out one time. I think he said, monotonous. No, damn, what the fucking word the brother said. But the point is, man, that women, they're attracted to, they're carnal people.
Attracted to power.
Yeah.
Hypergamous.
That's the word, bro. Women are hypergamous, man.
They're opportunists.
Exactly.
They gonna look
Oh,
for
like a
whatever
rat, like a
opportunity.
rat, like a rat. When you look up the characteristics, no flex. You look at the characteristics of a rat, they say that they opportunists, bro.
Right. That's why they call hood rat.
Yeah. Oh my God. Rats. Oh,
I got a precept. This is Jeremiah 31, verse 22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For Yahweh hath created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. And that's bugged out, man. That you women, you supersede, you go around and, man, you know, in your quest for an American dream.
Well, they enter into that Broadway that leads to destruction.
Yeah, until they start seeing memes about World War III, then they start getting in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? Then they start walking toward the kitchen. You know? But as soon as the lights come back on, the water start running again, them hoes cussing you out again. You know?
And that's what when I was down there in Dallas, that's what Apostle Paul was talking about.
Oh, that's what he always talking about.
Yeah. He was, hey, let's just go get a wine sooner than later. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the way that the society is ran. You know, it benefits the women, the judicial system, right? All the laws are designed to benefit the woman, right? And that's what it says in I believe it's Micah that she that is my enemy. Paraphrasing, you know what I'm saying? That she shall see it, right? And that fear is when they come upon her, man. When they realize that the things that they've been taught since growing up is not going to be sufficient for them to survive in these last days, man.
Right, and they saying that now because the fact that they got so much access to all these different things is abusing themselves, man.
Right, yeah, it's because they say that in Sirach. You know where it's at? They say that she will abuse herself through overmuch living, man. And that's what it's called, women's lib. Sirach 26. It's called women's liberation, man. Yeah. And Esau knew that would destroy you women, because women are not supposed to be liberated.
You go into the whole concept of that with your Wonder Woman and all that shit like that. You know, like you really base on and go research that shit like
like the motherfucker.
That go back to all that
$1 billion man, and he had the bionic woman. Bionic woman, man.
And where do you think Superwoman came from, man? You know what I'm saying? That was the
Superwoman, Catwoman.
Yeah.
I got one.
Yep.
It's Sirach, chapter 26, verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch.
Just like the movie with Samuel L. Jackson, Black Snake Moan or whatever. Just to give you paint a picture for you, the one chick, she was a whore and a slut. So, for an example, because that's the type of women that's whores and sluts, like Amber Rose. They got no shame. So, when you watch that movie, Black Snake Moan, the premise of the movie was the chick, she was a slut and she was a whore, right? It said keep her in straight. When you go into straightly, man, you know what I'm saying? You could get physical with a bitch.
Very, very extremely strict.
And extremely strict, that's the point. But the movie Black Snake Moan with Samuel L. Jackson, he changed the bitch to the radiator, remember? Bro, you ever seen the movie Black Snake Moan?
That's funny, though.
When she was an Edomite looking chick, you know, but using that for an example, if it was an Israelite woman, he changed her ass to the radiator, bro, so she could be a whore and a slut.
Well, that's where you get the chastity belts.
Yeah.
Put their daughter in
because
belt.
really the chastity belt was, in particular, it was for a wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, like when a husband, when he went on like a long journey, he went on like a
war campaign.
War campaign, or he went on a long journey, he had to handle some business or some shit like that. So just to protect his merchandise, he was put that chastity belt on him.
mean? Like I said, and then if a man's off on a campaign or war or he on business or whatnot, whoever's in that woman's ear, 9 times out of 10, because women are emotional, she gonna, you see it all the time. That's why you got like women that have a best friend as a man. I'm more than likely, a man can't really be a good best friend with a woman because they gonna end up, it's gonna always do. You're gonna do what nature intended. You know what I mean?
Right. They also had attachment belts for daughters like coming into the time of the flower, right? So that way because back then women were looked at as investments or commodity, right? So if you had a virgin, you know what I'm saying, now you can give her up to the highest bidder, and you can get some substance from it. But now all the women are home, it ain't worth a damn thing, man.
Yeah, he go into it right here. This is like 26 and 10. If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straightly. If she abuse herself,
But you can't keep your daughter in straight. She'll cause 6-9 kids on you. You know what I'm saying? Or you'll have some activists surrounding your house. You dig what I'm saying?
Or a simp nigga.
Or Captain Kirk ass. Lady, you got a cape on. You can't even do that in this society. You can't keep your daughter in straight, man. They'll fucking charge you, right? Like the brother said, they'll take your children first and foremost, or they'll charge you with some shit like kidnapping, child endangerment, all these different various charges that these devils got on the books, man. So you can't even, you know what I'm saying?
discipline your children properly.
Right.
You know?
And why is that? Because your children not even yours, man. When you sign the birth certificate and get like we talked about that last week about the birth certificate, the Social Security card, they're property of the corporation of the United States.
Man,
So this is why they can come through and they can put you in cuffs and take your children away. They ain't got to give you no reason, no nothing, because they're not yours. You just brought them into the world.
We're gonna read a piece of it.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 32. It says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given to another people."
Right, so you will discipline your children, they'll take your children. You know?
Right, because they don't want no structure, no order, integrity and morals in regards to the people on the side right here. They want you to be lawless just like them.
And thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them.
Yeah, like the movie 12 Years a Slave. Just to paint a picture for you. With Solomon Northup, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but remember the chick, the Israelite chick, she was married to an Edomite, and those children, they were Edomites, of course, because you are what your father is, right? According to the seed, right? But in that movie, her children got took away from her. She was crying. Yeah, he told her. He's like, he was telling her ass, bro. He was like, I will keep her until I see freedom, this opportunity. He said, I will not fall into despair. And that's the type of mind frame that, like the brother said, that's the type of mind frame that men have in regards to or in relation to their children, bro, especially men in this truth, man, in this walk of ours, because we already understand that the children are ours, man. We already grasped that concept. But that's a foreign concept to 2/3 of our people. Because it came out of my body. You know what I'm saying? It came out of my body. So they believe, right? And they belong to the no. Like the brother said.
It's the spirit that y'all speaking on this. I remember when they first started the lockdowns and whatnot, like in this state, Ohio, they got laws on the books where basically you can send your kids off to school if they deem it necessary. They can keep your kids for safety. So, like the brother said, because as soon as you had a job, and the mother gives birth, they get to sign in the birth certificate and whatnot. She can sign the children to the state. Right there.
But the thing is, what's the other option? There is no other option. Like, especially we have no light in our head, man.
But now you got Jake in the world talking about fuck the kids. You know that video? He's like, fuck the kids, toss the kids out with the bathroom, started no families, man.
Because they tired of the so-called black woman shit.
Yeah.
Everybody, she's been exposed just like Esau.
Then Jake, this is why Jake deals with other heathen. This is why Jake deals with heathen women, because you ain't got to deal with a woman asking you to pay for my nails, my wig, pay for my BBL. Jake ain't got to deal with none of that bullshit, that vanity, man. And then these other heathen women gonna treat you like the God that you are, man. So fuck the so-called black man.
That's why you got the passport dudes, man.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? He don't like that shit. They want you to be
What's the
American
problem though?
something.
They're the same ones
You
that.
don't want
Yeah,
But they hypocrites though, because they be the same ones talking about love is love. They support the moles. You know what I'm saying? All these moles, they with that shit. But then if a nigga want to take a trip and get some foreign pussy, it's a catastrophe.
Well, now you got these bitches on the news.
Rights issue.
Like, you got these bitches on the news talking about, yeah, they going out overseas just to pay for it and shit. You know, I hate
You had
it.
Jake doing it. You had men speaking of women. Well,
That's
that's
what I'm saying.
that's why you said that they hypocritical, because in the same breath, you got these women that go to Saudi Arabia,
Right.
taking tracks on them.
Right.
They gotta sign a contract and they gotta get through a particular obstacle course.
They got sugar daddies. They got, you know what I'm saying? They get all this monetary from other places. But then if a brother want to take his money, you know what I'm saying?
Right, I thought they said was two complaining game or something like that. And that's a concept of women. If you can do it, I can do it.
The issue is that, like I said, they being exposed, man. Like, it's going mainstream that the black woman is not shit. That's mainstream now. You know what I'm saying? That's how the world look at them. You know? Go ahead.
This is Isaiah 32, verse 10. Many days and years shall you be troubled, ye careless women. For the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come.
Yeah, this delicate American lifestyle that these women living, that shit gonna go out the window. Ain't gonna be no tampons, Tampax, you know what I'm saying, birth control, ain't none of that. All that shit about to go out the window, man. You know, you're not strong, you're not independent. You're gonna be real dependent, and you're gonna be so the Lord's gonna allow this devil to make you so dependent that you're gonna be begging for RFIC, man. You know, to feed your family, to keep them EBTs, to keep that SNAP. You know,
When that snap run out, Keisha might get in order, man.
all Esau gotta do is make somehow combine the C hip with Instagram. If Esau created a feature on Instagram with a C hip, man, it's over. All you niggas
That's what they got metaverse for.
done. That's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? They ain't gonna get rid of Instagram. They get rid of that shit. They gonna be no more Instagram where you get likes and you can see your roses, super chats and shit like that. You got a lot of women that do that too, man. You know what I'm saying? They got something known as a super chat. Like for instance, with certain individuals, like I use some metaphors on, right? When you go live on you have people that can just send you money, bro. They can send you money. So women, bro, they got all these different platforms where they can do this shit. You can do that shit on what's that shit called? On WorldStar, bro. Even on WorldStar, they got 10 different applications. Huh?
YouTube too.
YouTube for sure. That's the main one. You know?
And all this man hating, all these super chats ain't come from women. They come from thirsty ass niggas. You know what I'm saying? So they say fuck these niggas on all this other stuff, but they depend on a different man to send them money and to take care of them.
Right. When they say fuck niggas, it's a certain caliber of niggas that they refer to. Right? Like a free thinker. Like, cause you got Jakes in the world that think like us. If you think like us, they fuck that nigga. Like Kevin Samuels, when he died, women was celebrating. It was bottles popping. You know what I'm saying? Sparklies. They was sitting in VIP at the club, drinking shots and shit, man. When Kevin Samuels died, man. You know, so individuals like Fresh and Fit podcast with those niggas Myron and individuals like that, Coach Greg and Coach K and Tommy Sotomayor, even him niggas like that, bro. Black Ground 313, those the type of niggas when women use that phrase, they fuck them niggas, they talking about a certain caliber of men, a man who not a simp, bro. Which them niggas is still simp. They just don't know that they simps, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like I said, they think they woke.
Isaiah 32, in verse 11, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones.
Because they view themselves through overmuch liberty. You
see the result of the liberation of women, man. This is chaos, man. Literally chaos. No man in the hole. You got women dressing like men. You got men dressing like women. You got these little nigglets. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you see that video where the butch tried to check a man for talking to her chick, and he was like, it was some crazy shit, man. A butch tried to check a man because he was talking to her woman. Like, she said, I'm coming to you as a man. Like, come on, man.
That show you that this place is delusional, man. Mental illness is prevalent here, but it's not treated as such. Majority of people are mentally ill, man.
Right. So, if you chin checked her with a right hook, I was like, wait, I'm a woman. Yeah, that shit, they the titty pop out.
Well, I'll say this. Even then, she might not revert to being a woman. You know what's going to happen? There's going to be a bunch of Captain Kirk niggas that jump into action. Put the cape on, and then niggas go run into the phone booth like Superman and come out that bitch with a cape on. Like, real talk. That's all that's going to happen, man. That's it. And these women, they going to tremble when 911 don't work.
Yeah.
See, that's when women going to tremble because that's their security blanket, so to speak, in this society. That's their security blanket. I call 911. Hey, look at it. Like Yvette told Jody, you better not hit nobody. I'll call your probation officer. Your ass will be back. Now what, nigga? Kiss my ass. That's what they gonna trouble, man. You hear me? Yeah. When the police ain't around, that's when them women gonna trouble, bro.
It was an article that Cleveland is like 300 police officers short. You know what I'm saying? You saw that article? Yeah.
They have a hard time recruiting, so they basically like closed down them positions, but they still hiring the city position, which is they not picking up the officers.
Yeah, Cleveland is 300 police officers short, man.
That's all by design, man. Because what? Like the brother was mentioning, order out chaos earlier. Right? They gonna send a National Guard. That's what they gonna do.
National Guard already did it.
Exactly.
So when that 911, when people start calling 911 and they getting a dial tone, or what's that like that? The busy signal. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's gonna be a wrap, man. Because as soon as that happens, then all hell's gonna be breaking out, man. It ain't gonna be no more a man taking advantage of a woman. They screaming for somebody. Anybody gonna be worried about that no more, man. It's gonna be all out chaos and war, man. It's gonna be something about that the love of many shall wax cold because iniquity shall abound, man. I mean, people are gonna turn into psychotic mind states, man.
Right. And, simps that they so that's so supposed to be praised in this kingdom. Them gonna be the main ones, and putting these, hold these women down so that they can get ran through, man.
All these, women pastors. You know what I'm saying? They gonna get into ones first, man. Yeah. All these JC lovers. Yeah. Ones they praying around with no clothes on, but got a big ass cross on.
Then we go into the word tremble and go back to 8:27-29 rod, right? It says to shudder with terror, to fear. It says to hasten with anxiety, right? It said be careful, right? It says, look at it say. It says to be anxiously careful. You know what I'm saying? So how the saying goes, that you walking on eggshells, that's how it's gonna be for women. It says to be anxiously careful, right? So they gonna be holding their tongue. You know how in this society, right? Like you brother talking about that stud checking a literal man about talking to her woman, right? In that time, bro, motherfucker gonna be anxious. Women in particular, they gonna be anxiously careful. Why? Because your life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? The motherfucker can kill you right then on the spot. Because this society is about to be catapulted 200-300 years, like in the Wild Wild West, man. Hey, that's why my dude Jordan Maxwell, he said back in the days you was a sovereign citizen. That's why you was able to carry a gun. That's why you ain't have to have no permit. And that's why you had something known as a duel. If you had a problem with me, I had a problem with you, we go out in the streets and settle like men. Because that's when people were sovereign citizens, man. You know? So, man, you women gonna be anxious. Be careful, like the scripture said. You're gonna watch your mouth, like my nigga Craig told that nigga Day. You gonna talk to people right? You can get your ass kicked out. You gonna watch your mouth. You gonna talk to people right. You gonna act right. That's how it is gonna be with these women, bro. You gonna talk to people right. You can get your ass kicked out here, Day. You hear me? And that's the type of mind frame and the perception that women gonna have in that time, bro. They gonna sit the fuck down and shut up. Like the movie, The Quiet Place. I love that movie. Both of those two movies, The Quiet Place, both of them is good movies. Part 1 and part 2, man. I'll go as far as saying part 2 is like on the same level as part 1, man. And that's a rare thing. You know, the original, the sequel, it always be, it be cheesy as fuck. But that sequel, it was on the same type of level. But I say that to say this, man. That time, women going, shut the fuck up, man. You like a pause there, shut the fuck up.
And if I can say too, that when you read Isaiah the 4th chapter, the 3rd chapter, it talks about that women. Oh, you got it right here. But they're gonna be eat their food and wear their raiment.
Oh, he's on Isaiah 4:1. Well, I was gonna start from the 3rd chapter. Read the last 2 verses of the 3rd chapter, then we'll go to the into the 4th.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 25. Thy man shall fall by the sword, and thy mighty in the war.
Yep, because niggas gonna get drafted. A lot of you niggas gonna get drafted, especially niggas that don't got the Lord. A lot of them gang banging niggas, that's gonna send your ass straight over to Ukraine, man. You know, and then when you get to Ukraine, Ukrainians gonna whoop your ass before the Russians start shooting at you. You don't get your ass like the one American citizen. Y'all saw that? There was a Jake. This nigga volunteered to go to Ukraine, and he was getting his ass beat and shit. And then he was getting on the internet asking people for help because he get his ass beat. And he don't know how he can get back home. Nigga, why the fuck would you volunteer to fight? But anyway, we ready to get that?
It says, Isaiah 3 and 25, thy man shall fall by the sword.
So they gonna fall. They already falling by the sword. These niggas already dropping dead. He just had, what's his name? Rick Flames. Nigga just got shot 5 times. Niggas get shot every day, B. So they already got him by the sword. But it's gonna intensify, you know? You know? Because the Lord said they shall fight with swords in their hand. You know, city against city, kingdom against kingdom.
Oh yeah, I was just talking about this earlier before camp started. You have the government; they're trying to crack down on these guns, man. All right, and that's the what's that? The second Bill of Rights. You know,
Second Amendment.
Yeah, Second Amendment. Yeah, you
Right
might.
bear arms.
Yeah, as soon as that shit, once they implement that, man, it's gonna be all hell going on. Isaiah, what's that? 19. It says Egyptian versus Egyptian. You gonna have bloodshed going on in the streets, man.
Yeah, they want to ban assault rifles, AR-15s. You know. They pretty much only want people to have handguns.
Well,
They don't even want that.
They want to ban like a certain capacity of ammunition that you load in the handgun. So like, you know, Jake be having the 50 round. Bro, you got a handgun with a 100-round clip on that bitch. You feel me? They call it with the nuts on it. That's the terminology that our people use, man. But you can use a handgun and you can put a 100-round clip on it. So magazines with that type of capacity, they want to do away with that shit. That shit is, it's illegal. You gotta have certain credentials and paperwork in order to even have that shit. But niggas in the streets and in Chicago and in the hood, but you know what's crazy though? You know what's crazy? Even if you don't have that switch, bro, even with like the firearms, dealing with firearms, you can go online, bro, and they got certain guides to guide you into converting this shit from a semi-automatic to a fully automatic. So you don't even necessarily need the goddamn the switch. If you got you know what I'm saying? If you like a smart individual, you know what I'm saying? You understand things, man. You can do that shit yourself, bro. Why you think Esau, which that's his blessing is the sword, but I'm saying that to say this, bro. You got Edomites who who they build guns, bro,
Right.
from scratch, bro.
Yeah.
I seen one dude. You go on YouTube right now. This nigga fucking made a Uzi, bro, out of just regular sheet metal. And he got the machine. He did the machine. He did this and then he put a whole fucking Uzi together, bro, just from sheet metal.
Them niggas make bombs too.
Yeah.
Maybe they go out making bombs and shit. You know?
Hey, the nigga I sent in the group chat a long time ago, the collector, this nigga got a
$1 million off of guns.
Yeah.
That nigga,
Yeah.
he's somebody, bro.
Man, bro, I think he's a mercenary, man. Cause ain't no way these Edomites got 6 rooms full of guns, right? And how are these people not on a terrorist watch list? How are you letting this man get hundreds and hundreds of millions, hundreds and hundreds of guns, man? It just show you that this man, it's just confusing.
He a part of the system. That nigga, that's why I said he must have been some type of high-ranking official in the military or something. Because those are the type of individuals that usually able to even possess that. Because the government already knows. Because he had to get license, registered, all that shit. And even in regards to him, when he built those rooms in his house, he had to have a contract to come out and inspect it and so on and so forth, man. He got an actual gun range in his shit, brother.
And these practicing to come at you, Jakes, man. You know, Esau Edom gonna come. When all hell breaks loose, Esau Edom, because you got something called the electrical Negro, where Esau Edom, it's documentation where so-called white people used to eat Jake, man. And when food is done away with, you gonna be the main source of protein, man.
Yep.
You eating tainted beef by that fucker. And he said a Walking Dead.
Yeah, I still got that Isaiah. This Isaiah 3:26. And her gate shall lament and mourn, and she being desolate shall sit upon the ground.
So women gonna be through, man.
Yeah.
You know.
Those gates represent protection. You know. Yeah.
Isaiah 4:1. And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying,
So because of that scenario that the Lord is going to create, the type of environment, anarchy that the Lord is going to bring to this place, it said that 7 women going to be compelled, they're going to resort to cleaving to one man, man. And not just any man, the man that they perceive has safety. The man that they perceive is good. If he has a grasp of what's going on, you
man,
know,
that's eating in these times of trouble.
Right.
You know, not worried about shit.
you know, look like he done washed his face this morning. Yeah, how his face so clean? You know what I'm saying? Why his face shining? Everybody else, you know?
Yeah, wisdom.
Think about the scriptures talk about how man's bosom maketh his face to shine. How much more in those times? Where, you know, all these niggas standing in darkness, man.
That's
You
how
know?
we're gonna know. That's because
Yeah.
you get that in Ecclesiastes 8, the one about the that because the women gonna see that countenance around the men of the Lord, and they gonna know through the Spirit that these men are here is that hiding place, man.
That part of your countenance is how you carry yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like your body language, your behavior, while everybody else is screaming and crying and, you know, with their hands on their, as a woman in travail, you know what I'm saying? While we just upright, you know, I got a style, a spurt, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, we gonna be smiling in those days,
Oh, yeah,
man.
laughing.
Because you're gonna have men that's gonna be in travail too. You know what I'm saying? So but the men of the Lord is gonna be good, man. You know? You can bring it out real quick up.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 8 and verse 1. It says, "Who is as a wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed."
And that boldness, because why? Because we're not going to be in that state of panic, man. You know that countenance and our face is going to be stoic, like our Lord, man. That austereness, man, through all the bullshit that's going on around us at that time. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be good, man.
They say not make haste in
Right.
evil time, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And women are gonna see that, man.
Oh yeah.
Because you're gonna have Jake running around here like a little bitch.
It's just like you go to the club, you got the niggas, they like club superstar, like
Right.
they know exactly what to do. They
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
money, they popping the bottles, you know what I'm saying? They in their element. So when
Right.
that day comes, we gonna be in our
gonna be in
element.
ours, yeah.
And they gonna be like, damn, these niggas is, you know what I'm saying? Like they look like they ain't worried, they ain't tripping.
But it says with Solomon the 5th chapter that at the let me get that. You got it. Yeah, kind.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
And that whole saying is meaning that these women gonna get in order, man.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be no more.
Ain't gonna be no stipulations.
Yeah.
You gotta buy me this. You gotta buy me that. You gotta cook this. You gotta, ain't gonna be none of that. They ain't gonna say none of that. They ain't gonna say. They gonna say you gotta, you ain't gonna have to cook for me. Just let me tag along. Just let me come with you.
Yeah, and the approach is the same.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the spirit, because in that time, that's when they gonna have that overwhelming feeling of guilt. Women in particular are women, right? Because reproach is also a compound word, right? Meaning back, approach from the word approach, meaning to come near. So they gonna have that flood of emotions. You hear me? They gonna have that flood of emotions, right? In that time. Everything that they did, that's what the Lord gonna put in their mind. All the fucking wickedness and the BS that they did towards men when the society was, when the society was running normally, right? Everything, all that shit gonna come back to the forefront of their mind, bro. When the time to take this trouble.
It's Micah chapter 7, verse 10. Then she that is my enemy shall see it, and shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy God? Mine eyes shall behold her, now shall she be trodden down as the mire in the street. So in that day, man, the shame is gonna cover them, and only the elect lady, the Lord gonna allow that shame to come off of them through a man of the Lord, man. But the majority of women, they gonna get stiff on them. They gonna get they gonna get the Heisman on that hoe. You know what I'm saying?
The Lord gonna forsake a lot of these women in that day. And that's why, like you said, it said, where is the Lord thy power? You know what I'm saying? Because why? Because they're going to understand that the Lord is dwelling in the man, which he chose.
And that's the mindset that they're saying now. Where is the Lord your power now? You know what I'm saying? Like you were saying, 2 Peter 3, for since the fathers go to sleep, all things will continue as they were from the beginning. These people, they don't see the presence of the Lord in us or in the earth, really, because they're blind to the prophecies. But in that day, the Lord going to have it manifest so much that everybody's going to acknowledge that this is the end that the Heavenly Father is bringing in, that was written about from the days of old, man. So it said, she shall see it, and shame shall cover her, man. And she going to be trodden down as the mire in the street. So the vast majority of these women, they're going to die. Martial law coming to America. Okay?
They're going to be shameful for having sluts. They're going to be shameful for breaking the laws and the statutes and the commandments. They're going to be shameful for talking shit to, because certain women in our family, they go get caught up in this time, right? And certain women, they going to be shameful for saying, talking shit to brothers,
And like the brother before our mom said, hey, Hasatan gonna have his departure. You pretty much tell him, you're on your own, man. This is the book of Ecclesiastes. This is the book of Second Ezra. Actually, I'm gonna get this Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 1 again, because I wanted to add a point. It says, "Who is as a wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing?" Because like the brother said, we still gonna have our head on the swivel in those times. It says, "Who knoweth the interpretation of a thing?" We're gonna be good because we gonna have an understanding of what's going on, which is prophecy.
Wisdom and knowledge.
Yep.
Shall be the stability of our time. People fear what they don't know. The root of fear is not knowing, ignorance. Once you know certain things, you don't fear it anymore. Once you know what death is about, you don't fear death. Once you understand women, you don't fear women.
Yeah.
Once you understand dogs, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta understand certain things in order for the Lord to take that spirit of fear off you. So we understand chaos. We understand war. We understand money. We understand angels and demons. So when all these things manifest themselves and they present themselves, in our lives, we're not gonna be shook, Lord willing.
Hold on, you got more now? Okay, this is quick. This is 2 Timothy chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, "For the Most High have not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." Right? And why don't we have the spirit of fear? Because we have that sound mind through the understanding of the scriptures. Man. That's what's gonna be our peace in this world of chaos, man. Because everything is gonna be all out chaotic, man. People are gonna lose their minds, man, because they don't have that understanding. You know, it's gonna talk about there should be a cry for wine in the streets. Right? Nobody's gonna have that understanding but the men of the Lord, man.
It said they shall walk like blind men.
Yep.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
right. Because that mental instability is gonna cause a lot of people to be looking at the see him like, oh, I need to do that. You know?
Right. Yeah. The Lord gonna put thought in their mind, man. And then, like, you can go Romans 3:10 real quick. You got something else?
And if I can say too, because the Lord gives people over to a reprobate mind, man.
Right.
All right. So, and the word reprobate goes back to vain, yeah, void of understanding, vain, worthless. You know what I'm saying? So, at that time, people are gonna be like the Walking Dead, man. That's gonna be an actual thing, man.
Yeah.
People are walking around not knowing what the hell to do. Like the blind groping at noonday. You got it,
That's from Revelation chapter 3 and verse 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience.
See, the ones that keep the word of the patience, the ones that have wisdom and knowledge, that, like it says in Psalm 91, they made the Most High Yahweh their habitation. Okay, those are the ones that have kept the word of the Lord's patience. The word patience means suffering. Those are the ones that have been suffering, inflicting sufferings on their own flesh in order to please the Lord and to follow the Spirit. Man. You know, go ahead.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation.
Yeah, it said that I have given them thy word and they have kept it in St. John 17, man. You know, we took the word and we put it somewhere deep within us, you know, and it became rooted and it grew, you know. And so because of that, those are the ones that the Lord say he's going to keep from the hour of temptation. It said the Lord is going to keep them from it, man. You're not going to be able to keep yourself from an RFID. See it, man.
Right.
You're not going to be able to keep yourself from it. It's going to get that bad.
Yeah.
The Lord going to have to put the Spirit on you.
Yeah.
And prove that, give me that Proverbs 1.
Proverbs 16, verse 1. The preparations of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai.
So the preparations of the heart, the Hebrew word heart is lav, which means mind. The preparations of your mind, which is your thoughts, that comes from the Lord. So the Lord gonna put the thought in your mind, and you can repent. You can take it, just repent, you know. And man, they gonna give in to that demon. They gonna listen to that demon, you know, and they gonna take the seed and they gonna think that they can repent, but there is no repentance, man. And the Bible, if I could say, the Bible don't have to say you can't repent for it to mean that you can't repent. All you gotta do is read it. It tells you that the same person that takes the seed of the heart, the charagma, is gonna receive the lake of fire, man. So obviously there's no going back.
Right. Before that, you're going to receive a what? A sword. But it's folly.
But that's what I'm saying. The scriptures say things. The scriptures oftentimes say things without saying it. But Jacob plays semantics and say, well, it doesn't say you can't repent. It doesn't use the word no repentance like it does in Hebrews, you know, when we talk about Esau. But the context clearly says that if the same person that takes it, the same person is going to be destroyed.
Suffer the wrath of the heavenly Father.
Right. It doesn't speak anything about unreceiving it or the same man who undoes the mark. You can't undo the mark. Okay? Read that one more time and you can read your precept. Go ahead, Michelle.
This is just to back you up. This is Proverbs 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, "A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsel." To understand the proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. Right? So these, like the brother said, man, it's not gonna come out and say that Babylon the Great is America, man. It ain't gonna come out and say that the clouds that the prophets saw are chariots of the heavenly Father.
It's
Right,
like
these
you
are
say, Karagma is a
Right, exactly. You know, these are all dark sayings that we like through the Holy Spirit and through the apostles were able to break down, man, and able to and able to convey the man that came before us their message, man.
Right. These people expecting God Himself to come down and tell these people, "Oh, this is America. Oh, this and that." No, the Lord set forth the prophets. You know.
You know, I don't know how you operate by just reading the book. And it was one dude, I think it was, I forgot what it was. I think it was Apostle Tahar. He ended I forgot what it was, but he ended a breakdown with Sakari was talking to some dude, and they was going over his doctrine, and he was saying, man, I don't go in the word. I don't play semantics. I just read what's in the book. I'm looking like, how you operate like that?
Yeah, because how can you this somebody get 2 Timothy 2:15? Because this book was written in what language? This book originated in the Hebrew, man. So how you gonna read a Hebrew ancient Hebrew text in English and expect to get the full understanding of what you're reading?
Edomites are on the word.
Yeah.
That's what you get like Blue Letter Bible from. So the Edomites and shit like that, like Strong's Concordance, etymology. Like, you saw doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because you get a better understanding when you know what words mean. Bro. Like the brother said, because the words thousands of years ago don't mean what they mean today. Words have been revised and they've been changed by this devil to mean other things. Right? So the words, you gotta go into the words to get a better understanding of what you're reading, man. That's why you got something known as language arts, if I'm not mistaken, or reading comprehension. When you read something, you gotta be able to comprehend and understand what you're reading. And you get a better, more thorough understanding when you know what a word means. For example, if you never went over the word counsel, you wouldn't know what it means. You go into the word counsel, it means advice. That's why you said, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. But if they go say counsel is, look at some shit dealing with the counsel on foreign relations, don't even know what the fuck going on, man. You gotta have a thorough understanding of what words mean, man.
Well, they'll do that though. They pick and choose, you know.
Right.
A simple man find an excuse according to his own will. They'll pick and choose. They'll go into certain Hebrew words, but when it comes to Karama, that word is irrelevant.
That don't matter.
Yeah, that don't matter. You know, because Mark is in this Ezekiel 9:4. Mark, you see, Mark, Most High's Mark. Y'all don't understand what's going on, and then you try to act like Greek is not a real. They try to act like these languages are not real. You know what I'm saying? Like Karagma is not a real word that's been around for hundreds of years that means an imprinted form of stat. That's what the word means in Greek in its respective language. If you went over to Greece to the other side of the world, you would know this. So you playing games with real facts. You know what I mean? Like the Lord put these languages pretty much like form of facts, and we rightly divide it. You got that 2 Timothy?
Yep, this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 2, and verse 15. It says, "Study to shew thyself approved unto Yahweh."
Study. You got to be studious. You know, you gotta buy a notebook. You gotta buy a pen. You gotta buy highlighters. You gotta highlight. You gotta take notes. You gotta write it down, man. You can't just be a video watcher. You know, you can't just be a precept packet. I memorized my precept packet. I'm good. No, you gotta dig deeper. Go into the Hebrew. Go into the Greek. You know, go into the etymology. Try to get more spiritual understanding. You know,
It says, "Study to shew thyself approved."
because you're gonna have to show yourself unto somebody. There are people watching this Hebrew Israelite thing. You know, there's a great cloud of witnesses that's watching these various camps, the quarrels between us, how we're going back and forth on doctrine. There's a large cloud of witnesses that's watching, and we have to show ourselves to be approved unto the Most High before them, because they're the sheep. They're the potential members of the elect that we're fishing for, that we're fighting for. It's like a game of tug of war, you know. Want to read that again?
It says, "Study to shew thyself approved unto power, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth."
Right. Go to the word divide. Right.
It says, orthotomio. It says to cut straight.
To cut straight. And so you got to get straight to the point, straight to what this means. So oftentimes, in order to do that, you have to go into the Hebrew. What's this Hebrew word for host? Oh, Tazabawat. Oh, what does it mean? Oh, armies. Oh, the Lord of armies. I didn't know that. I thought it just meant host. You see?
Yeah.
So like you have to do these things, man.
Host of authority. No.
You're lazy.
Right.
If you don't do that, you're lazy.
Right, because you gotta understand, like this especially like this English language, it takes away the totality of what the words meant before.
Right.
You know?
Well, that's in the prelude.
And that's why it's a difference between translation and transliteration.
Right.
Now, translation is just the converting from one language to another. But transliteration is it breaks it down from the spelling of different words, right? So
Transliteration like gives you like the pronunciation.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, because Jesus is not a translation.
Right.
Jesus don't mean anything. It's just a two-syllable sound. I think
It's a transliteration from Iesus.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, Iesus. Yeah.
You know, but the Lord name goes back to Joshua.
Right.
Okay, in the English you could pronounce it Joshua, but the name Joshua goes back to Yahushua. You know, and that's it in the Hebrew. Now this is the prelude of Sirach. Just to back up what the brother said. It says trying to get to the point. It says wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may have seemed to come short of some words which we have labored to interpret. For the things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them. And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. So the law, the prophets, okay, the scriptures, they hold a much greater force when you speak it in the Hebrew, man. Yeah, when they speak it in a pure tongue, the Lashawan Kodash, you know? So you're taking away from the force of what's being said when we read it in the English. So you have to...
Even in the Greek. That's why you got so many concepts that's confused on the word mark in Revelation 13 and 16, man. Right? Because it's been broken down, or it's been translated two different times. Because originally it was in Hebrew, then it was converted to translated to Greek, and then it was translated to English. So you losing all of that juice, man, behind it.
And that's a cut too, because like you said, when they wrote it in the Greek, they translated from the Hebrew.
Yep.
So why would they choose? There's many different words for both in the Greek language. So why would they choose karma, which means an imprinted stamp? With the word imprint, it means a mark pressed upon a body or surface. So why would they use that word charagma to describe the mark in Revelation 13:16? Great was the company of men that published it. It's like,
Yep. No, you could. I said also means to cut.
cut,
Yeah.
right?
That's the indicator. Yeah.
You know, it's all
You
physical.
got root words, you got all type of stuff, man.
Right.
You know?
You got stigma, which is the Greek letter 6. The word is stigma for the 6. And stigma, we know, means a brand.
Yeah.
A brand upon slaves as a devotion to a false god. You know? A stigma is a cut in the form of branding.
Right.
But the number of the beast is Chi, which is 600, Psi, 60, and stigma, which is 6. That stigma represents the branding, man.
I got a question for believers in the way. In Acts, right, it talks about Easter, right? So do you guys
Right.
participate in Easter?
Right.
You know? What about in Acts chapter 7 when it talks about Jesus?
If they go into Easter, they playing semantics.
Yeah,
If they go into the Greek, they playing semantics. You know?
I gotta put this up. This is Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 28. It says, "The heart of the righteous studieth the answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things." You know, so the heart of the righteous studieth the answer, man. Studying words, studying breakdown, right? Studying prophecy. All these things are what makes a man of the Lord who he is, man. All right, through the Spirit of God, Yahweh Shai. So we got to study, we got to break down, we got to divide, you know what I'm saying? And we got to understand. With all that getting, get understanding, man.
I got what you said. This is the book of Sirach 37 in verse 8. Beware of a counselor and know before what need he has, for he will not, for he's like, let me read this again. Sirach 37 and 8, beware of a counselor and know before what need he has, for he will counsel for himself, lest he cast a light upon thee and say unto thee, thy way is good, and afterward he stand on the other side to see what shall befall thee, man. You know, and this is what's gonna happen to a lot of these camps. All right, they back in their mind, they know that the Quran, all right, that Mark is the seed, man. It's fucking obvious, man. They're coming out with articles on this shit every day, and you see it. Even Edomites and these other heathens know that the MOTV is gonna be a seed, man. All right, so you think of camp heads don't know? These camp heads are getting paid. You know, they have 501c3 programs, simply IUIC, man. You know, they have TV shows and shit.
ISPK.
Yeah, ISPK, IUIC.
The Lord said not to make no covenants with them.
Right.
You know, 501c3, that's a contract, that's a covenant.
Right, give mind the heart.
Right.
You know, and this is what's gonna happen. You know, they're gonna lead you into that MOTV, man, and they ain't gonna have no mercy for you. Because our people are sheep. And sheep is a gullible creature, man. They, you know,
docile,
right?
Which means docile means ready to learn, ready to be led. That's our people, man. They're led by these guys. You know, and many of them are gonna be led into destruction. Many shall follow the traditional way. You got this in?
This is book of Malachi chapter 2 and verse 7. It says, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law of his mouth.
The law at his mouth.
It says, for the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is a messenger of the Lord of hosts. Verse 8.
So you're supposed to seek understanding from the priest, man.
Right.
You know, from the men of the Lord, man.
Right. He's supposed to seek. Right. He's supposed to seek understanding. So seek. You know what I mean? So what you supposed to seek out if ain't nothing but filibusters to fill out for understanding? You know. It says, therefore, verse 8. It says, but ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, said the Lord of hosts. You know what I mean? So, you know, pretty much like, you know, like the scriptures say, you know, the shepherd calls, you know, the flocks to go straight, man. You know, really they supposed to, you know, be, you know, teaching that spirit of prophecy, you know, warning the people. But instead, you know, you just getting a watered down version of how to take the seed up as an Israelite.
I mean, it's good to say that you smite the shepherd and the sheep shall scatter. You know what I'm saying? So with that, you know, that scattering is meaning that all over the place, man. Because when the sheep doesn't have no shepherd to lead them, what happens? The sheep go this way, some sheep go this way, some sheep go that way, some sheep go that way. And now the whole body is gone, man. All right, so when you don't have that true leadership, that true direction to lead you in the right path, like the brother had quoted in Psalm 68, you know, about the Great was the company those men who published it, let me paraphrase it. You know, that's the shepherd, man. The scriptures is a shepherd to keep us in line, man. And when you go outside of that, then what? Making those covenants with the 501c3 and all those different things that Esau offers, you're really gonna be all over the place, man.
St. John 10.
First read Jeremiah 23 and then we'll go to
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23 and verse 1. Woe be unto the pastor that destroyed and scattered the sheep of my pasture, saith the Lord.
Yep, like you said, man, you're destroying the flock, man.
Yeah.
You know, you are not warning them, but instead you're coming up against the warning.
Right.
You're actually combating the warning.
Yeah.
One of the main warnings, which is the MOTV, man. You know?
The Lord told you what would happen if you take away or add to the scripture.
Yeah, so you're going to be found with blood on your hands.
Verse 2. Therefore, thus said the Lord power of Israel against the pastors that feed my people. Ye have scattered my flock.
Yeah, see, the thing about it, like it's spiritual because every camp has a head, but your head, the head is your most important part of your body. You know, and pretty much if you lose your mind, if your head not working right, the rest of the body not gonna function properly. That's why Yahweh Shai said the whole head is sick, or Isaiah said the whole head is sick. You know, because these people they're being led by somebody who's spiritually retarded, so it got them going down the wrong path, man. Here it is, your head is retarded.
You have scattered my flock and driven them away.
Matter of fact, you driven them away. You pushed them further from the truth. You know, you gave them articles and links to push them further from the true prophecy, man, to confuse them even further. So that's a great offense. You got it.
It says, and scattered and driven them away, and have not visited them. Behold, I will visit upon you.
Yeah, you have not visited them. When we see articles about the MOTP, we hop right on it and we go give it to the people. You ain't visiting the people like that, man. You know? Go ahead.
Bro, you doing 5-hour breakdowns and don't even answer the question.
Bro,
man.
don't even answer the question, man. Like, that was embarrassing. But go ahead, though.
It says, I will visit upon you the evil of your doing, said the Lord.
Yep. So, you know, the Lord got judgment for those false pastors, false teachers. Was that also 2 Peter, 1 Peter 4? You know?
Like, look, you don't feed the sheep. Like, say, for instance, a shepherd, he ain't coming to visit the sheep. He ain't nurturing them properly. He ain't feeding them they ain't getting the proper, the nutritious food, the proper nourishment. Then what's going to happen to the sheep? Eventually, they're going to die from hunger. They're going to starve to death. You know? And the Heavenly Father through a certain house shall say, feed my sheep. You know? Because the sheep, especially in this day and time, now more so than ever, the sheep are hungry, bro. You know what I'm saying? The sheep need to be fed now more so than ever, bro. Okay?
Now more so than ever, you got a lot of false shepherds. That's like, I can tell you in Acts 20 and 26, men shall come after disciples after themselves. So you got a lot of that going on. Like the book of Jude speaks about apostates. There was a lot of apostates during the time of Jude. Same thing happening now, man. A lot of people, a lot of distractions, and God's trying to pull away the sheep from the truth.
Driving disciples after them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Verse 3, it says, and I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries, whether I have driven them. Right, so, hey, at the end of the day, no matter where you drive, you try to, snare them. The Lord got his set elect, that he going to get at the end of the day. It says, and will bring them again to their foes, and they shall be fruitful and increase.
Yep, in the kingdom, the Lord gonna deliver us, man. But you
St. John 10?
Yep. Start 1. Yeah.
St. John 10, verse 1. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber.
Yeah, and that door is Yahweh Shai, man. When Yahweh Shai came down in the form of the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, and he dwells in one body of men. That body is the men of great millstone, man. Which, like the Prophet Tuhar said, that would make us, starting with the apostle of the doorkeepers. Because the elect is not all.
Trying to say,
right. I was going to say that every member in Great Millstone is not of the elect.
That's the point, right?
You got members in the other camps that's going to be of the elect, but all the elect will agree on the same doctrine. Yeah. So who teaches the doctrine? That's the question that everybody should be asking themselves. Which a lot of these camps, they don't even believe in that the 100% truth. They don't believe that the Holy Spirit gives one body the 100% truth. So are you even a Hebrew Israelite, man? You know what I'm saying? You don't believe in the Holy Spirit. You don't go into the Greek. You don't go into the Hebrew.
They don't go into the world news that's happening now.
Right.
You know?
What are you doing?
They black. It's
They're
like,
not Hebrew Israelites. They ain't no Hebrew Israelites. They black Israelites. They ain't even Hebrew. They Hebrew out.
right.
To the Lashon Kodash, that's Ebonics, according to Nate.
It says, St. John 2:10-2, but he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
Right. So that's what the apostles did. You know what I'm saying? They came in the right way. You know, when you come in the right way, you eventually become a shepherd yourself, a teacher yourself. You know? But,
And 12, verse 3, to him the porter openeth,
the porter is a doorkeeper. Okay?
and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out.
So they're not going to be deceived. That means they're not going to be deceived. The Lord said in Baruch that he shall give them a heart and ears to understand. Meaning he's going to get in the Holy Spirit. So where when they hear it, it's going to click and they're going to follow him wherever he goes. I was reading the book of Mark. And it's funny, when you read like the first 6, 7 chapters, even really when you just read the whole book, they always say, and they follow him, and they follow him, and his disciples follow him. They follow, and it made me think of these that they was follow the Lamb with us every door, man. Because can you imagine? Okay, you got this miraculous man amongst you, but you literally follow this man wherever you go. You don't leave his sight 24/7. That's how the disciples was, man. They left their job, they took their apron off, and they said, "I'm following this guy." And they never left his side, man. You gotta meditate on that, man.
Right, the scripture say, be thou continually with the godly man.
God.
You know?
So they didn't.
Understood that Yahweh Shah had, you know what I'm saying? The disciples said that. He said, Lord, now have the words of eternal life. Whither shall we go?
Right, where else you
Who the hell am I? You got the key. You talking about, you got the key, you got the breakdown, you got the answers to life, you got the clarification on why I'm on the earth. Like, where we go, Lord? Like, yeah.
That remind me why they asked them, the Pharisees asked Yahushua why his disciples don't fast. And he said, because the bridegroom is with them. Why would they need to fast? When you fast, you ask for spiritual answers from the Lord. All they had to do was ask Yahushua. They didn't have to pray, you know what I'm saying? Wait for the Lord to send an angel to, answer.
Like Ezra.
Right.
The Lord had to be that fast in Daniel. That Ezra, he had to eat the herbs. You know what I'm saying? The Lord like, yeah, you told me.
St. John 10 in verse 3, it says, to him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and leadeth them out. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, but they know his voice.
Yep. So when the elect hear the doctrine, man, like I said, they're gonna follow it, man. The disciples you read, they follow Yahushua. They follow Yahushua. And some Yahushua told them to follow him. But there was a special spirit on them to never leave his side. They were a special group of spirits that never left the Lord's side, man. And they became disciplined disciples. The Lord disciplined them and taught them, and eventually they became apostles, man, sent forth to teach. Same thing with us,
It says, and a stranger they will not follow.
Another doctrine, the strange woman, they ain't gonna follow. They ain't gonna hearken. They gonna realize this bitch running game with them. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna get up out of there. Go ahead.
It talks about that in Proverbs, like the mouth of a strange woman.
Right.
It's basically like a deep pit, man. You know what I'm saying?
It says, but will flee from him.
Yeah, they gonna go the other way. I wanna leave, watch me. I wanna leave. What should I do? How do I get out? What's the movie Get Out? I never saw the movie Get Out, but get out.
It says, John chapter 10, verse 5, and a stranger they will not follow.
Right. Because even sheep, when you go into research and you research the dynamic of sheep, like I'm talking about real sheep, they know the voice of their shepherd. Like they memorize his voice. And you can try to impersonate the voice of the shepherd, the sheep will not follow. That's real like real farming. 101.
And then on the spiritual level, because animals, you know what I'm saying, they're in tune with the spirit too. So they can, like for instance, like a dog that's a particular, you know what I'm saying, sick, and a particular sick. Like you use the voice for an example, that's true, man. You know what I'm saying? Because even when a lamb is in his mother's womb, you hear the voice of the shepherd. Like, even with children. Like, that's why children, they know your voice, bro, even when they're in their mother's womb. Because they hear you talking. So it's the same thing dealing with sheep, man. In regards to a shepherd, they know their shepherd's voice, they know their shepherd's scent, you know? They know their shepherd's energy, man.
Well, but John the Baptist jumped in joy when Yahushua came around.
Yeah, that's
That's cold. Go ahead.
It says, John chapter 10, verse 5.
Well, he wasn't the man of the Lord.
Yeah,
Though.
right.
That's scripture though, because he heard his mom, he heard his mother's voice though.
Yeah.
He heard Yahushua's mother's Mary's voice, and that's what made him weep in her womb, bro.
It says, and a stranger they will not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers.
When you get this word stranger in the blue letter, it says belonging to another. It says foreign, strange, not of one's own family, alien or enemy. Ooh. So they not, they gonna know when they listening to somebody that's not of the Almighty Shah. Like it said in Jeremiah 23, the Lord have not shook them, yet they ran. They're gonna recognize that the Lord not doing this, God. The Spirit out here.
Right.
I'm not increasing.
There's something strange, it's unfamiliar. That's why this don't sound right. Yeah, I ain't familiar with this song. And like you turn it, when you turn the song, oh man, this shit, I never heard this shit ever, man. What is this, man?
You said friends, hold on.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you gotta think, our spirits are regenerated.
Right.
Never in history have we ever wore t-shirt fringes. So that shit didn't rock with us. We weren't wearing t-shirt fringes 2,000 years ago.
Hold on. One wife. What?
Right. Never in our past lives have we combined for one woman.
It sounds unfamiliar to my ear, man.
And when Jake was young in the world, Jake was dealing with multiple bitches. But in the spirit, it was, there was more women on earth for a reason, man. I'm gonna jump down to verse 11. John chapter 10, verse 11. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd gives his life for the sheep.
Right. Yahushua, the main shepherd, man. But the Lord said he would give us pastors according to our heart, which shall feed us with knowledge and understanding. Another word for shepherd is pastor.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, but he that is an hireling.
A hireling? This man just getting paid to do it. He don't really give a fuck. He don't really have a passion. He's not really rooted. He don't really believe the Lord coming back. He don't really care about doctrine. He's the type of guy that thinks doctrine is not really that important. It's all about unity. It's all about love. It's all about building a nation.
It's all about having fun.
Right, fun. Go ahead, Al.
It says, but he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming.
The sheep don't belong to this person, man. Because the sheep, they belong to Yahweh Shemel Shai. But they might be under the care of a hireling for a particular time. And that's what's happening right now. And you see the Lord is sifting the house of Israel. Okay? Because, man, if you got a conscience, Israel is born with a conscience. If you got a conscience, this shit should be on your mind about being on TV. If you an Israelite, you in another, like, your shit should be on your
They
mind.
was trouble too.
God, that too.
That's a lot, you got individuals, certain individuals said that, and now they, then they change it,
Change the tune.
Yeah.
So, cause man, I mean, we know what's coming, man. We're in fear, man. So if you an Israelite, man, you should be scared to get it right, man, before this shit pop off, man. Go ahead, we'll close out right here.
But he that is an hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them, and scattereth the sheep. The hireling fleeth, because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep.
So he's not, this is the type of guy, he's not willing to lay down his life for the sheep, like Yahushua said. He's not willing to be beheaded. He don't take this that seriously. And you got guys that's like that are actually leaders of entire congregations, man. That they don't really take this thing seriously. They doing it because it's something to do, okay, yeah, it's their heritage, but, they ain't really ready to die, man. And teaching their congregation to be ready to die. We teaching each other to be ready to die, man.
Right. Listen, they teaching them, we got an underground railroad, so we gonna stay.
You got rid of his state.
Fuck out of here.
Well, the higher you feel. You gotta have an underground railroad. Shit. But hey,
And wolf, you know, it represents Esau and his devices, man. You know, so that's what the part of this warning is for, man, to warn you and to prepare you what devices Esau is coming with, man. And if these prophets are saying peace and safety, well, there's no peace in that the Lord is not dealing with that prophet, man. But you got it out, slide.
yeah, man. Is that it on that? Okay, so yeah, Lord willing, this is edifying. We're gonna close, giving all praise, honor, and glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
double honors to the apostles, the elders, the great millstone, who taught us 100% truth. Peace, blessings, and safety to the Lord's elect, Kom Yashwala, and the Bible. So.